Hi guys, this is Lost and welcome to the first episode of Learn to Play, a place where we will be breaking down our heroes and how to play them. Now this may cover everywhere from casual all the way up through more competitive types of playstyles, but we are going to first break this down with Nazeebo. I'm going to start off with the very first hero that I ever played way back when I first got into the closed alpha back in, I believe it was late September, early October, and this guy was a beast back then. I remember him having so much fun on
Our
him. I
destiny lies
remember.
on the field of war, not here in the
Oh boy,
cave.
let me fix that really quick here. We're gonna have to change my sound settings. Turn that off because he's gonna keep talking. But I remember. Oh my man, I just stuttered like a motherfucker. But yeah, well, that's what I did because I would lock people in the zombie wall. Oh boy, would I get yelled at when I locked people in my zombie wall. Okay, so let's get started here. Nazeebo is a very good range damage dealer. He can provide a good push as well as a lot of DPS if played correctly. If not played correctly, you can be as bad as I was when I first started playing him and end up going from locking other people down to locking your teammates down. There is nothing worse than a bad Nazeebo player, and I'm not trying to insult nobody, but we're going to avoid that. So let's get into his talents and his abilities here. We have his corpse fighters. Now the corpse fighters are great because they are in the meta currently. You throw them out, they're gonna hit whatever they see in front of them. They're really good for the chase. They can finish things off. They can, just do a significant amount of damage later on. Excuse me, his zombie wall, great CC. It just has to be timed perfectly because it does have a bit of a delay. It's probably about a second, maybe second and a quarter, 1.25 second delay. Um, do note that you can hit your W, my two, to bring this down again if you misplace it. Please, 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 that is crucial. If you learn anything from this video, please learn that you can place your zombie wall, watch it pop up, and if you caught your Uther in the zombie wall, drop that as soon as possible. Okay, your Plague of Toads. Let's see here. What can we do with these? They're great for wave clear. They're great for hitting buildings, and they are like, think of it as a shotgun. If you turn on a Diablo and you hit him with all five toads, each toad is going to deal 30 damage, so that's 150 damage. They can be dodged. They will spread out in a fan, and you can go between them, or you can go around them entirely. So they are all about knowing when and where to use them. Now let's delve into his voodoo ritual. Basic attacks deal damage over time. Killed enemies restore health and mana, which is really nice because he's going to feed himself back up. I mean, it's not going to be significant, but it's going to be enough that he can sustain himself a little while longer than most heroes. Let's look at his two ultimates. We have the choice between Gargantuan, which is really powerful at the moment, especially now that they give you the ability to control when your Gargantuan is going to be smashing the ground, and also the Ravenous Spirit. Now, the Ravenous Spirit, back I'd say March, February, was seeing a lot of play with the wombo combos, along with the ETC Mosh Pit, the Zeratul Void Prism setup. I mean, you had the Apocalypse into it, and Nazeebo just wanted to stay behind a wall and just get as much damage in as possible. This thing would wreck, but it has been nerfed quite a bit in this last patch. So I would recommend going with the Gargantuan just because he's going to hit hard. He's going to be a constant annoyance, and it's another body that they have to deal with. He's going to soak up that damage, and you just want to stay behind him. Treat him like a tank. Throw him down, set it, and forget it. Just make sure you're watching and making sure you're hitting those R's whenever you can. So we're going to delve into his talent pool. Now, in this tier 1, there's only really one place to go, and that's Death Ritual. Blood Ritual, it just increases what he already does, so I don't really see the need for it. Demolitionist, unless you're just messing around going with a full pusher build, yeah, sure. Bribe, it it just doesn't fit his kit. You shouldn't be running around bribing minions. You should be taking Death Ritual. And the reason why is because this is going to sync very much with your Voodoo Ritual that deals the basic damage over time. The basic attacks deal damage over time. And the way to optimize this the most is to think of it as this. You're basically spitting poison onto each and every single minion. You're spitting poison onto everything, and as long as they are poisoned and they die with that poison on them, you are going to get credit for the death ritual. You will see a blue orb hover around Nazeebo, and that's going to increase your health and mana drastically over the course of the game. You want to try to auto attack as many as possible, try to get those last hits in. He's one of the few heroes in the game that does rely on this, and just absorb it. If you play this correctly, by level 7, level 8, level 9, you can already be above 1,000 health, 2,000 health. It's all up to you how much you want to pursue it. You can make him very, very, very dangerous and very, very tanky. Okay, so without further ado, level 1, Death Ritual. Level 4. Level 4, level 4. There is a lot of different things we can do here with level 4. Envenom, not so good on him. He's a ranged caster. He wants to stay in the back. He doesn't want to get up in the fight, and this has a very short range, which I understand it's a free 60-second cooldown that is going to hit a lot, but it's not really going to be necessary. Gathering Power used to be pretty good. But with, as I said, the nerf to the Ravenous Spirit and the nerf to Specialized Toxin, Gathering Power just doesn't stand up in this tier as well as the Spider Cluster does. Now, there is something to be said for Promote. If you are good with the Promote is currently in today's meta. As of the Kael'thas patch, Promote is the big thing. But I don't really see as it fitting as his kit as much as the Spider Cluster does. You are Nazeebo, you are a damage dealer. You are there to push out as much DPS as possible, and in my opinion, that would be going with the spider build. That would be getting more spiders to your kit rather than taking the promote, because you are not there to split push, you are there to support your team with sustained damage. So you can go the ability gathering power route, but I think overall you're going to get more out of the spider cluster, and we will see why. I mean, I will tell you the gathering power build. The gathering power build would be the same, Death Ritual, and then Gathering Power, and then once we get to level 7, we're going to take Gibbon. Same thing if you take Spider Cluster or Gathering Power here. You're going to take Gibbon no matter what. It just does so much. It's just not even fair. I've never taken Fresh Corpses. I honestly don't think I will, unless they get some type of huge buff. Merc Lord, yet again, it's not really. I mean, you guys, you're not running around. You're not a Gazlo. You're not running around trying to help. Clairvoyance on him. There's too many other people that can get it. I mean, yes, Vision wins games, and unless you're the only one that can get it, and they have a Zeratul and a Nova on their team, it's not worth taking. Mule, probably best left for a healer. You're sacrificing too much damage here by doing the Mule. I mean, just think about it. Your plague toads, your zombies, your spiders all hitting, 25% more. It's just insane. You just have to do it. Okay, we mentioned about this before. I would stick with the Gargantuan build currently. That's my opinion. I mean, unless you feel really confident with the Ravenous Spirit. The Ravenous Spirit is a lot more about positioning, and you are going to have to make sure that you are in the back line where they cannot get to you. You are going to be the stun target. If they see you go off, they are going to do everything they can to get to you. One freaking attack and you are gone, or they can stun you out of it, or you're just standing there out in the open. They can kill you. So be very careful when using this. I think it might get brought back up in the next patch just to make it viable to compete with Gargantuan again, but I still see Gargantuan as being number 1 for a little while here. That is my personal opinion. Now we get into level 13. Zombies uproot and attack nearby enemies. I think that's just as bad as Fresh Corpses. Don't ever take that. Just buy. Toads of Hugeness. Toads, I mean, yet again, you're trying to buff an ability that they can easily be avoided, it can be easily dodged. I mean, the point of that ability is to try to turn on somebody and hit them smack dab with all 5 of them. This is only going to increase it every time they hop. So the longer out they get, the harder it is for more than one toad to hit the same target. I understand like sitting in the back in a team fight and using this. I would rather be safe and see somebody take sprint or ice block. Personally, not ice block though. I know I just contradicted myself. Sprint, sprint, sprint. This should be a mad dash to click the button sprint because a lot of times you're just going to need it as soon as possible. Alright, here we used to take, the build used to be Death Ritual, Gathering Power, Gibbon. Then you'd get down here, you'd grab Sprint, and then you'd take Specialized Toxin. But with Specialized Toxin getting the nerf bat from 200% down to 100%, it's not as good anymore. You don't want to grab Stone Skin. Nazeebo shouldn't be taking any extra damage. There's no real need. Infested toads. Toads explode into corpse spiders upon death. That doesn't really do anything because this is what you need to buff the spiders. So if you take this, you're losing out on the extra damage that the spiders deal. So you really want to take this because this is just going to increase the spider cluster. You're going to have more spiders. They're going to be lasting longer, and now they're going to be hitting harder. Simply put, spiders, 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 spiders. If you see a spider, it's probably a good talent to take. So now we get up to level 20, and you can play it safe. You can go with Bolt of the Storm for that double escape. You have the sprint, the bolt. It's not bad. You can go. I would never take this. And yet again, if we're not taking the first Ravenous, we're not going to grab the upgraded. I mean, if you do get Ravenous, this is always worth taking, but just the extra range alone makes it worthwhile. I would never take. I would never take Fury of the Storm though. You want to be taking Humongoid. Humongoid just makes it that much more annoying, that much, more plausible that he's going to soak up a lot more damage. And by the time he dies, your cooldown is pretty much all the way back up again. So, actually, I will have to double check that. But basically, yeah, Bolt of the Storm or Humongoid here. And that's going to wrap it up for our first episode of Learn to Play, brought to you by Lost, of the Chaos Vanguard. And I hope to see you again. This will get a little bit cleaner as we go. This was my first one of these. So bear with me, and Nazeebo thanks you. Take it easy, guys.